The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot. Let's talk to author Roger Gallo, NBA shot making and offensive efficiency specialist. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Spurs In Focus right here on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Pick a platform, we are there. Amazon Podcasts, go subscribe right now. Don't forget about the Substack, Spurs In Focus Substack, completely free. Sign up today. As always, I thank you for making Spurs In Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Unsubscribe to the rest. You only want to come here to Spurs In Focus. What are we talking about today? Well, it's the off season, so I figured it'd be time to have a very solid guest to talk about NBA shot making, offensive efficiency, all that good stuff, that what goes into making good shots. I brought into this episode Roger Gallo. He's the author of The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot. Everything you've learned about shooting was wrong. Yeah, exactly what he says. We're going to get into a chat in just a few minutes about making the perfect shot, how Victor Wembanyama's shot could use some work, or does it at all. He gets into all of that, so much more. You want to follow him on X at Gallo Method, GALOMETHOD. The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot. It's available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, all that good stuff. Again, look, he talks about how the art of shooting is outdated, how it's time to embrace the science behind shooting. You want to hear this very informative interview with Mr. Roger Gallo. So stay tuned. Coming up next, special guest, Roger Gallo, author of The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot. All right, and now let's go ahead and welcome our very special guest, Roger Gallo, NBA shot making and offensive efficiency specialist. You can follow him on X at the Gallo Method, and he's the author of The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot. You can pre-order now on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, or basically just wherever you get your favorite books. You want to go there right now. Roger, it's good to talk to you again, my friend.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I'm always excited to do this with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, I know it's a busy time. You got the book ahead coming out in June 2nd, everybody. So mark that on your calendar. Roger's going to talk to us about the book. What is it about? Why should y'all go pick it up? So much more. Roger, talk to us about The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot.
Well, I kind of stumbled into it, Jeff. I didn't intend to become what I've become. Had no inkling of doing that whatsoever, except when I started watching closely the stats on shooting over the decades. And eventually I started questioning how come I was such a great shooter, and others, of course, along the way, and started revisiting my own shot and started asking questions for the first time ever. In all the years I've been reading about shooting in my youth, trying to become the best shooter I could become because I'm vertically challenged to 6 feet short as a basketball player. And when I started asking questions of people in the basketball community, I didn't get very convincing answers. So I went outside to scientists at universities in the Philadelphia area and started asking them. And it was me on the journey. But actually a physicist insulted pretty much what suggested what I was doing on my release, the way I released the ball. And despite the fact that I was third in the country as an NBA prospect, he said, well, that was silly. And he never even played basketball. Yeah, that was not easy to accept coming from somebody like that, even though he was a scientist who had never played basketball. So that began me questioning, wait a second. And he convinced me he could say that because he is a physicist. And what I was trying to do with a round object coming off of my hand was ill-advised. And there might be something better than that. That began the journey about 18 years ago. And that's what the book is about, the journey, pretty much the journey. It started, Jeff, as a thought-provoking type of book. Could there be a better way to shoot? Could there be a more effective, more accurate, and consistent way to shoot? And if there was, why hadn't any of the books I ever read from the shooting coaches who wrote them talked about it. And that's what I do in the book. I try to give out that thought that they're just be open to it. It may not be for everybody, but be open to the fact that if this were based, and this is based in principles of science, so I take real now to the art of shooting. I'm almost sick of hearing about the art of shooting. It should be based in principles of physics, kinesiology, biomechanics, anatomy plays a big role, geometry, etc. So all of that is touched on in the book.
You know, Roger, this is a Spurs focused show, and I got to talk to you about Victor Wembanyama, a guy at his height, 7'4", the wingspan. He's taking logo threes and making them, as we saw in the playoffs this season. How does his height, reach, all that good stuff, hand size, play into his shot?
Great question, Jeff. I actually, in the book, I highlight that the bigs, and he's the biggest of the bigs,
yeah, he is,
have distinct advantages. Everybody in basketball understands the value of a high release. Well, guess who has the highest release in the NBA, in the world? Victor.
Yeah, that guy you see on your screen, everybody, that guy has it.
Yes, that guy has the highest release in the game of basketball known to man as we're speaking. That guy, because of his height, has a totally unobstructed sight line on the basket because of his height. That guy has a psychological huge advantage. We like to talk about the mental part of shooting, right, Jeff? Well, do you think he fears, like I would, or somebody 10 inches shorter, his shot getting blocked? I doubt it.
Absolutely
very
not.
much.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, for sure.
Those are three things that get me so excited about somebody like Wemby with his skill set that he has, and the number of skill sets that he has. I think he should be the most prolific, the most accurate, and the most consistent in the history of the game because of that.
Wow.
I know that's a strong statement.
That is a very strong statement. Yes, it is. And you're talking about guys that played in the league, from Steph Curry to Craig Hodges to a guy named Roger Gallo, who's had a good shot too. I mean, that's amazing. But is it the fact that he can just I don't know how to say this, but because his eyesight is not at the 10-foot rim, but because he's just so unobstructed. And does it even need to take a jump shot? I mean, seriously, does he need to take a jump shot? What about a set shot? I mean, how does the type of shots work in?
He doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
He elects to do that. And a lot of that's predicated what we are trained to do as basketball players. Create a jump shot.
Yeah.
So jump on your shot. He technically doesn't have to do that. And if you compare him to another big man who came out, reinvented himself not too long ago by the name of, Brook Lopez.
Yep.
Another big, 7'1" plus, doesn't jump very high. Again, because he's so tall, he's got all those three advantages. And that is huge in setting up your shot, being more prepared, more ready, under control than the average bear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, on a catch and shoot.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or maybe the average alien in this case. Yeah.
The average alien. Thank you.
Well, obviously Victor has a huge advantage with his height, as you mentioned, his unobstructed view, all that good stuff. But one thing you hear during games is the lost art of the mid-range shot. Do you buy that? Do you believe it is a lost art?
I think it's almost forced from learned at the summer league and some of the conversations I've had with some of the people from the NBA. Very not use it. Not everybody, but they're electing not to use it. And I'm sure that's connected to their analytics, but there's roughly 540 square feet from which to operate. And in the book that's coming out, I highlight that in the last 10 or 12 years, I can't get over one of the discoveries I made, Jeff Garcia, and it was this. The most missed in the NBA and possibly college and maybe even the WNBA might be the layup.
Oh, wow.
The layup. Yeah. And I'm not talking about the breakaway cherry picking layup. I'm talking about the layup that's attempted during the half court sets.
Yeah.
Where somebody passes up a three, shot fakes or ball fakes, whatever, to drive all the way to the basket and be met by who? The guys we were just talking about, the bigs, the guys with, and wait, plural.
Like this beast right here, like this beast.
Yeah. Now, wait, you're going to go down there intentionally and try to score a layup against him. And he's not alone. He might have another guy, a teammate, down there waiting for you too. And what about the defender following you after you drove by him or he's riding your hip?
Sure.
Secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grey Skull, I subscribe to Spurs in Focus."
Once again, we're joined by Roger Gallo. You see that guy on your screen right now. He is the NBA shot making and offensive efficiency specialist. Follow him on X at GALO method. That's all one word. Author of The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot. Pre-order now on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, basically wherever you get your books. Go there right now. It releases on June 2nd. I'm assuming pre-sales are already available. Is that true?
That is correct, Jeff. Yes.
Okay, perfect. And we're talking about the perfect shot. And just a quick summation, Roger, when he was up and coming in the basketball world, and he was one of the best shooters in the nation, dare I say the planet, maybe, he decided to go and just get it fixed. And he went to a scientist, physicist, all that stuff. Talked about Wemby and his shot, how he could become potentially one of the most deadliest deep shooters in the league has ever known because of his height and length. But circling back to the game today, we talked about how the mid-range shot is kind of lost a little bit, but you went above and beyond and said even the layup. So why do you think, especially the layup, is kind of not a thing anymore? Why do you think it's been taking steps back instead of taking steps forward?
Well, I'm suggesting that it is a difficult shot attempt.
Yes.
It's in an area that's already very congested. There's a lot of bodies there, which requires a lot of clever maneuverability. I was very good at doing that because I patterned part of my game after a player by the name of Pete Maravich, which was craftiness beyond craftiness. Right. With that being said, I was able to draw fouls and try not to get as hurt with the intention of trying to finish on that, being as short as I was in basketball. But I think that's one of the issues. The value of the three obviously is what's dictating a lot of the change. Every team, when you think about the game, if one team is averaging 47 possessions, well, the other team is probably getting something close to that number of possessions. So the math has dictated a lot of the changes that we're seeing in the game today. That's why the mid-range is becoming almost taboo. And yet, as I said, there's a lot of space from which to operate to pull up a nice, easier, higher quality shot in that space before you get all the way down to that dangerous zone in the paint at the rim to be met by bigs and a number of elbows, a number of feet from which you can fall down on and twist or roll an ankle, and so on. So it's when we're talking about some franchise players, who are at risk doing that, then there might be some reason why that change is taking place. It's a tough shot.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
why
And I want to,
yeah, tough shot.
yeah, I want to put this guy back on your screen. Just had him
Okay.
right now. There he is.
Oh yeah,
This guy, Stefan Castle.
yeah.
He lives in the paint. That's
Yes, he
where
does.
he does his most damage.
Yeah,
We know you talked to us about how the layup is kind of a thing now. Like they don't because the minimal, just basically the newer players need to work on. But can a person still be a player like Castle still be effective just in the paint? Because every time Roger he talks post game, whether it's a win or a loss, he'll say, "I got my paint touches," or "I didn't get my paint touches."
yeah.
Talk to us about just getting in the paint and connecting on the shot.
Well, I think when you become that gifted athletically, you spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to best manipulate your own body to enable you to score or finish. And that's what he evidently has done to another level.
Right.
And he is so confident doing that. Again, it's that mental thing, confidence. He is so confident doing that he's going there without a nanosecond of hesitation. And he's probably got a move A, a move B, and a move C from
Right.
one initial move, if that makes sense. And from that, he can operate pretty effectively in that area. And the other thing that I have to believe is he realizes at some level that he probably is in a situation where he's challenging the bigs to the degree where they risk fouling him
Sure.
in the attempt of trying to stop him.
Yeah.
And that's always a contribution being made by that player for their team to draw a foul against a big and
Sure.
get him off the floor.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, and I didn't ask you. So you said you have a crooked nose. Who hit you?
Yeah, a big.
Oh, okay, well there you have it.
A big
big.
going in for a layup. Yeah, I didn't get hurt. I didn't, and I rolled my ankle, broke my ankle in the paint, going in for a layup. It's a tough area from which to operate. I want to make it clear. I'm not suggesting you don't take layups. I'm suggesting that you do it very discriminately. And I'm suggesting there are easier shots to be attempted and cleaner shots and higher quality shots. Well,
Right.
Jeff, doesn't that suggest a higher probability of the shot going in?
Absolutely. And more points. 3 is better than 2.
And the three, one of those threes is the simplest, easiest, least contested shot attempt in the game that I've identified in the last 15 years next to the foul shot. Well, wait, if it's that simple, shouldn't it be maybe a lot higher in terms of probability, percentages of it going in? Yeah. And that's why somebody like a Wemby, the discussion we had in the beginning was so exciting. The bigs should be those that are the most prevalent or the most dominating, reliable shooters from out there because of the elements, the advantages we highlighted earlier in the show. It's a hell of an advantage.
Yeah. I think you can lock down Wemby though, Roger. I think you still have it. I think you do.
You think?
Yeah. You're a big guy. You can just box him out as everybody does. This is just fascinating. What else does the book go into?
It goes into the some of the things, actually many of the things that I've come to realize towards the end of the journey that we simply, and I was guilty of this. How did I develop my shot? And I ask everybody I train, how did you work on your shot? Did somebody teach you? Did you work with a pro shooting coach? Did you copy somebody? Most of us copy somebody, and we're usually copying somebody that's impressing us enough to be copy worthy, right? I copied part of my game after a player by the name of Pete Maravich, another part of my game after a player by the name of got Earl the Pearl Monroe, Black Jesus, he was called.
Yeah.
I patterned another part of my game, an important part of my game, after a guy from Purdue back in the day by the name of Rick Mount, a great shooter. So that combination made me the player, more of a complete player that I became offensively. But the book talks about how everything, just about everything that I grew up on when it came to shooting was just that. It was copied. It may not have been the best way to do something, but because it worked, it passed the eye test, it seemed to work for him, it became popular.
Yeah.
And if it becomes that popular, then it becomes that commonly used.
Sure.
And that's pretty much what the book is suggesting, that and technically speaking, and this is going to baffle some people to hear this, I'm pretty comfortable saying to a lot of the players I've trained that, like me, I really trained to shoot crooked.
Interesting.
Yeah. Even at the foul line, we're trained to establish a body orientation to the basket that sets us up to shoot crooked.
Wow.
And the system, the Gallo shot making system, Gallo, of course, is my last name, Jeff.
Right.
It stands for generating accuracy or gaining accuracy with linear optimization.
Okay.
Real fancy word, linear optimization, straight line. It's really about how much easier, how I've demystified shooting or shot making specifically by learning and training to shoot straight from the get-go,
Right.
as opposed to shooting crooked. And I know that's not going to sound like it makes sense, but I urge you to go out and buy the book, read the book, and maybe some of what you find out in that book through the wisdom or whatever the tips, you might come to realize that, yeah, it might be a little bit easier to shoot straight than it is to shoot crooked and determine an angle. And could that possibly explain why one player on any given team that we're watching currently shoots so well from the left wing,
Sure,
but he can't shoot from the right wing, or vice versa?
Right.
Why is that?
Another question I have for you, Roger, is it true that they say the corner three is the easiest three to take?
I haven't heard it put that way, Jeff, as much as I've heard it's the most coveted three.
Okay.
To
Okay.
take.
Why is that?
And the general, the predominantly general consensus is it's the shortest three.
Oh, okay. All right, I see.
Yeah, I take real. I don't agree with that one bit. Not one bit.
Right.
The ball does not care. It has no distance regulating device on it. It doesn't care how far it's traveling. I would argue that should be a tougher shot because
I would think so too.
Because of the depth perception,
Right.
not having a bank board in the background like we do from every place else on the court. I would also suggest is probably not a shot that if everybody's trying to get it because it's that high a percentage shot, then aren't teams adjusting to try to defensively take it away from you too?
There it is.
So how many attempts can it afford you? I've got a real strong theory. I'm sorry, my village of scientists have told me that it's not a theory, it's a hypothesis. My hypothesis is that corner three is probably the closest practiced shot to the foul shot that anybody practices when taking any three, meaning that the parameters in which you're operating within, for example, in a right corner, you can't step right. You're out of bounds. You can't step back. You're out of bounds.
You're out of bounds, yeah.
If you step forward, you're taking it along too. So you're limited. Variabilities are very limited, which might add to the consistency level, the percentage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Like you have to put more focus into that.
And your footwork is more controlled. Like I said, you can't. There's not a lot of. You're not doing a spin and a crossover and a between the legs and a right. You're doing a very limited shot.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, or you just pump fake and, like you said, go for a two or just attack the rim or hit a layup. How's that?
Or hit a layup.
You hit a
Try
layup.
to get
Yeah,
that layup.
exactly. You were talking about bigs a little while ago. You talked about
Yes.
Wemby and everything, and you mentioned Brook Lopez. Another big that can hit him is a Joker.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Nikola Jokic. I mean, he could knock him down. I mean, just the list goes on and on. How many bigs are making him? I mean, even Chet Holmgren, he can
Yep.
make a couple.
That's
So
right.
the evolution of the big and how they are now stepping out away from the paint. You know, back in the day, David Robinson, now he's camped out there. Shaq camped out there. And for good reason for Shaq. He was just a brute. So, yeah, who's going to stop him? But
Right. Yeah.
but even like guys like or David Robinson back in the 90s, you know, he had a healthy mid-range shot, and he could definitely knock it down.
He did.
So,
he did.
Absolutely. Who've been your favorite best shooting bigs? Is Wemby on that list?
Wemby is
Climbing in, maybe.
He's of great interest to me and is one of my favorite because of the things we talked that he has in terms of advantages. Frankly speaking, I think he's at about 36% from the three.
Yeah, he's around there.
Roughly. From the bigs going forward, I honestly believe that in the next 10 years, possibly sooner, that we're going to come to the realization, because I already have, that the three ball should be the second highest percentage shot next to the foul shot.
Interesting.
I mentioned it earlier. One of those shots, and there are others, that is one of them is the second easiest, least contested shot attempt in the game of basketball, next to the foul shot. Wow. Well, that should promise a higher shooting percentage than what we are excited by currently. There's a guy in 1987, 1988, a year after the introduction of three ball, who led the nation in 3-point shooting, which was not embraced well. It was adamantly being fought against. It's going to ruin the game, blah, blah, a whole different sentiment back then. Well, he shot 63%.
Wow, who is this?
Led the nation from Holy Cross. Yeah, I think his name was, I want to say Voigt, Voigt, something like that, or Trough. I'm sorry, it was Trophf, Trough. 63%. And he made it in the NCAA records books.
Wow.
And that was at a time when they were resisting the numbers you're taking. Right. Now we've got players averaging 6, 7, 8 attempts a game.
Yeah.
Back then, that they were lucky to average 2 or 3 attempts a game.
Sure.
But with that being said, was he a big back then? I think he was about 6'7" or 6'8". So back then, he was a pretty good sized basketball player and had a couple of those advantages we talked about earlier.
Nowadays, 6'7" is a guard. That's crazy.
That's right. The average height in the NBA is 6'8". So yeah,
they're getting stronger, taller.
Yep.
More athletic, more diverse in their games, and Wemby's a perfect example of that. And that's the thing with him. I remember he came into the NBA, he was very adamant, like, I am not a big, I am everything. Like, you want to play center? Yes. Forward? Yes. The other forward? Yes. Shooting? Yes. I mean, he was very adamant about that. And we're seeing it right now, just his evolution too. He is Mr. Roger Gallo. You want to follow him on X at GALO Method. That's all one word. Do it right now. One more time, Roger, where can everybody get the Pursuit of the Perfect Shot?
It's available now on a pre-order basis. It will be released on June the 2nd through Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Target, and any bookstore that you're likely to buy a book from.
Yeah. There you go. You see it, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it above him right now next to his head.
Oh, yeah.
See right there? The Perfect Shot. That's what it'll look like if you go in stores. Look for that book. He is Mr. Roger Gallo. Roger, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here. We appreciate it. Pretty sure fans, well, especially for Spurs fans, love what you had said about Wemby and Castle. So, yeah, they're definitely going to soak that up right now. Again, Roger, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Spurs In Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. You want to come here every single day. Don't subscribe anywhere else. Right here, Spurs In Focus, your first spot for all things silver and black. Substack, Spurs In Focus Substack, completely free. Sign up today. So for Mr. Roger Gallo, I am Jeff Garcia, and now you're in focus with Spurs In Focus.